Hi, everybody, and welcome to Drop In with Marianne. I am Marianne, and I am a teacher at Brock University. I teach English as a second language, and we are located in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Many of you already go to Brock University, but maybe some of you don't, and maybe some of you are just checking it out just to see what we're doing on here. So what you should know is that this is for grammar. This is to help people with their grammar questions pertaining to their ESL classes at school. And so if you have any questions that you would like me to cover or explain to you, please feel free to send us an email at the email address that we will put on the screen for you, and send it away. I will get it, and then I will be able to talk about it on here with you. This is a live show, so I can't read your texts or emails right now, but I will be able to do it maybe tomorrow or next week sometime. So today, you guys, we are going to do something new. Yesterday and the day before, we talked about modals, and today we are going to get into prepositions. Don't be scared. Prepositions are not that scary, although some students do have trouble. But that's okay, because that's why we're learning a new language. You don't start learning a new language and then all of a sudden be perfect. That doesn't happen to anyone. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to try to speak, even though you think you don't sound very good. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is try, and the more you try, the better you will get. So that's what we're doing here, and that's what I would like to help you with. So let's start talking about prepositions. Do you know what a preposition is? It is usually that little tiny word in a sentence, and it can tell us about place, time, movement, or direction. I know you know prepositions. I know you've used them. You've probably even studied them before. So maybe for some people, this will be a bit of a review. But for other people, this might be maybe a little bit new if you haven't really studied it very much before. Now, I would like to go over with you prepositions of place. We're going to talk about place, time, and movement today. Well, we're going to try. I don't know how much we'll get through. We might have to continue tomorrow. But let's start with prepositions of place. Now, there are a lot of prepositions of place, and I know you know some of them, and I know you've used them. At, in, on, by, under, over, in between. Now, those are called prepositions. The problem, I think, with prepositions is that you can use the same preposition for different meanings. For example, I can use in for a preposition of place. But you know what? I can also use in for a preposition of time. I can use them both. That's where the confusion comes in, I think. So I think what we need to do is practice a little bit and use some examples that will help you. So let's look at prepositions of place, starting with in. Well, you want to talk about being in something. In something. Now, I know that that sounds pretty easy, but you have to remember that not everything is a solid container with an edge. Not everything is like this. You can have in a train. You can be in a car. You can be in a jar. well, maybe not you, but you can even be in a chair. You can also be on a chair. On is also a preposition of place. At is a preposition of place. Now, I would like to go over these with you because I think that this is where some confusion comes in. I would like to bring up at. A lot of students have a problem with at because they're not sure when exactly to use it. Well, when we say at, if you are at something, you are describing where you are. For example, a specific address or a number, a specific place. I am at the school. Well, you've heard the expression, I am in the school, or I am in school. What is the difference between I am in school and I am at school? What's the difference? Well, it can be very slight because if you are in school, that means you are studying, you are taking classes, you are in school. But what about if you are at school? Well, with no the, it kind of means the same thing. I'm at school. I'm in school. Same. But what about when we add the? I am at the school. I am in the school. Now, in this case, it can kind of mean something very similar. If you are in the school, what you are saying is that you are physically in the school. You are in the building. You are in the classroom. You are in the school. If I am at the school, it doesn't necessarily mean I am inside. I could just be at the school. So it depends on the context of your sentence. Now, we have at, we have in, we also have on. You have heard on before. When we use on, we are talking about on surfaces, on places or buildings, or which side. I'm on the right side. I'm on the left side. So when you think of on, think of surfaces, think of places, and think of sides when it comes to left and right. Now, let's look at a surface. A surface is something that is flat, right? So if I am on something, it could be I am on the table. I am on the building. Are you going to say I am on the car? No, but you can say I am on the train. Why on the train? Why not on the car? Good question. We say in the car, but on the train. We say on the bicycle, but you can't be in the bicycle. A bicycle doesn't have walls. Now, on the train means you are in the train, waiting to go. In the car means you are in the car, waiting to go, but you are not on the car. That doesn't make sense. So we can use in and on in these ways, but this is why prepositions are a little bit confusing. If you are on a surface, that means you are on something flat. You can be on the sidewalk. You can be on the road. You can be on the porch, on the table. I don't know why you'd be on a table, but you can be. You can even be On the lake. On the ocean. What? But that's water. That's right. If you are in a boat on the lake, that's how we could say that. I am in a boat, or I am on the boat. You could say that too, but I like saying I am in the boat on the lake. Now you can be on a boat. We say that. That's very common. And this is why sometimes in and on can be used interchangeably and they can mean the same thing. But sometimes they don't. And we have to be careful which collocation we use when we are using prepositions, because many times words are used together. They are used together, and that makes it a collocation. Okay, let's get back to on. On a surface. Let's make a sentence. He is walking on the sidewalk. He is driving on the road. Jill is in the boat on the lake. Janie is on the ocean. Now that doesn't mean she's swimming in the ocean. That means she is on a boat on the ocean. In or on the boat, that's okay. Now you can also use on for sides. On my left, on my right. I have one person on my left. I have another person on my right. On, not in. You have to say on when it comes to sides. But what about at? Can I say I am in 321 Main Street? No, we don't say that. We say I am at 321 Main Street. Now, why would I say at? Because it has a number. I am at 321 Main Street. It is a specific place. Now, if it has an address or if it has a number, for example, at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock. We wouldn't say on 12 o'clock or in 12 o'clock. No, we would say at. Now this is time. This is not a place, but you get the idea that you can use prepositions with different circumstances and different contexts. So with place, we can say in, a space, or a container. For example, my pen is in the jar. My pen is on the jar. My pen is under the jar. My pen is by the jar, or my pen is next to the jar. My pen is in front of the jar. My pen is behind the jar. Now, I think that that's a lot to remember. So listen for prepositions when you are watching TV. Look for prepositions when you are reading. Do you know how often we use prepositions? We use prepositions all the time in English because it makes our speaking much more effective and it makes us very clear with what we're trying to say. Now, on a surface, left right, on a place, on a lake. At, you can be at specific places. Look for addresses or numbers. Time, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. Look for time, and that will help you use the correct preposition with time. And that leads us into in, on, at for time. Now we've done places. Let's look at time because we use this all the time. Okay, let's look at on. Now, when we are using the days of the week, we would say on. I am going to see Sam on Friday. I wouldn't say I'm going to see Sam at Friday. No, I'm going to see Sam on Friday. If it is the day of the week, then we're going to use on. What about if it's a month? Do we still say, I'm going to see Kay on October? No, I'm going to see Kay in October. I'm going to see Kay in October. So if it is a day of the week, on. If it is a month, in. That's easy to remember. What about a year? A year would be in. I was in Spain in 1998. I was in Korea in 2003. In. Okay, that's clear. On, in. What about at? Now remember, we're talking about at for time. At for time. Now, if we're talking about a specific time, such as midnight, we would say, I will see him at midnight. I will see him at 12 o'clock. I will see him in the morning. I will see him in the afternoon. I will see him in the evening. In. With time, in the evening, in the morning, in the afternoon. Now, what about morning, but with a day? Does that change? No. We say, I will see him on Monday morning. I will see him in the morning. When? On Monday morning. Remember, look for the days of the week. The days of the week get on. Now, what about at? I said it was something specific. I like to sing songs at Christmas. I like to sing songs at Christmas. I go to church at Easter. Now, this can also be a little bit tricky because some people will say on. I like to sing songs on Christmas. I like to go to church on Easter. Well, in these sentences, on Easter Sunday, on Christmas Day. So day and Sunday, days of the week, we would use on. But if there's no day of the week, then what would we say? At Christmas, because it's more like at Christmas time, at Easter time. And so that's how you would differentiate with at usage of time. Now, what about the 10th of March? Her birthday is on the 10th of March. Now, why on? Because we have the month, March. Why isn't it in? Because we have the number, the 10th. On the 10th of March. And so that's when we would use on. Now, what about seasons? Do you guys know this one? I know you've practiced. When we talk about seasons, we say in. I am going to see my brother in Switzerland in the spring. I am going to France in the fall. I want to go to Scotland in the winter. In the, and then the season. That's how we would make that example. And so when you're talking about seasons, use in the. When you are talking about days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, on. When you are talking about months, in. When you are talking about years, in. So that's why I think so many students find this kind of tricky, because the examples can go all over. And part of that reason, you guys, is because there's no set formula. Prepositions, like the rest of English grammar, can change. But what I want to do is now move on to movement and direction. So we've done place, we've done time. Let's look at movement and direction. Now, we all have to give directions sometimes, because sometimes we have to tell people where to meet us. And knowing how to give directions clearly is going to benefit you, and it is going to help you a lot. And I'm probably going to review this tomorrow, because I will want to give you more examples than the few examples I can give you today. Now, if we look at movement and direction, it's just like giving direction. What words do we use? On. He is on the corner. The grocery store is on the corner. The grocery store is at the corner. In that sentence, or in that example, you can use on and at the same way. It is at the corner. It is on the corner. It means the same thing. It's there on the corner, right? Now, what if I say along? It's along the street. It is next to the movie theater. These are all examples that we use when we are talking about movement and direction. You can even use the word opposite when you are explaining where something is. The bank is opposite the grocery store. You can say the hospital is across from. Now, I talked about collocations before. Across from goes together. That's a collocation because those two words always go together. The hospital is across from the restaurant. And these are just some examples that we can use for movement and direction. But you know what? I think I'm going to go over this again tomorrow, and I'm going to give you some more examples that you can practice and that you can use when you are speaking to people. So this has been a great day, you guys. I hope that you got something out of this and understood what prepositions are used for and with. For and with. Those are two more prepositions. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for coming to Drop In with Marianne. Please send me an email if you would like me to cover something from your grammar class or any of your classes pertaining to grammar that you would like clarification regarding. All right, you guys, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.